Hello everyone, Deb Floros for Beading. We're going to make some boutique style necklaces. This is such a simple project. We're going to actually make two different ones using some really beautiful connector pieces in gold tone and some 4mm gemstones. I've got some white matte African opal for this one, and then the second project is a 4mm rhyolite. And each stone is just incredibly beautiful and goes so well with the gold tone. I've also got some seed beads. They are perfect match for these designs. So I've got everything all laid out. We're gonna make a symmetrical version first. So I'm going to use this larger textured ring connector. I'm going to use 19 strand beading wire, and I'm going to start with a pattern of 3 seed beads. Then I'm going to add a little stone 4mm round and then 3 seed beads. And that's going to be the entire pattern, like easy peasy design. But this is just going to be so boutique style. And boutiques are way overpricing those beautiful pieces, and you can make your own. So Beading has some amazing new metal pieces to work with. And these little 4mm gemstones are all the rage to work with. So you can make just about anything with these stones and these connectors, but we're just gonna make a simple necklace. So that's going to be my focal, and I'm gonna string on a length of beads and seed beads, then add my crimp tube, and then I'm going to do 2 seed beads on one side of the connector, attach the connector, and then add 2 more seed beads. And that's just going to act as a little bit of an accent and will help us to have something pretty where we're actually securing our strand onto that connector piece. So I'm just taking my beading wire and I'm putting it back down through my crimp tube, and I'm trying to get all the slack out of the piece. And then what I'll do is crimp, and you've just got a little bit of that glass accent from the seed beads, and it creates the continuity for the entire design. So being very careful, I'm going to crimp just above those seed beads. And now we've got the first part of our necklace strung and all ready to go. So I'm going to trim the wire off the package, and then I'm just going to add a couple more beads to the end. I actually put that up to my neck to see where that pendant would lie, and just needed a couple more beads to do that. So that's what that looks like. Then we're going to put a bead stopper at the end of that strand and start the second one. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. Again, a very, very simple design, but oh so chic and boutique style. I'm always surprised when I see these kinds of necklaces out there and the price tags that go with them. I'm just kind of a little shocked when I see that, but you can make your own, like I said. So you'll match up your strand and make sure you have the same number of beads and your pattern didn't miss a bead somewhere. Then you're gonna put that crimp tube on, seed beads, then the connector, then the seed beads, and then you're going to go back down that crimp tube and you're going to pull that fairly tight to the connector. And I'm going to do another crimp here. And because I'm still on the package, I did press the other beads backwards so that I have plenty of room here to crimp on that little beaded loop there so that I don't crush those seed beads. It's really easy to do. So crimping, and then adding a few more beads to the end. After I've strung my whole entire piece there, I'm already seeing how beautiful this is coming out. So I've got bead stoppers on both ends. Now it's time for the closure. I'm bringing out those seed beads again, and I'm just using a simple lobster claw. And I'm taking the same approach, starting with a few seed beads, then the lobster claw, and the same number of seed beads on the other side of the lobster claw. And of course, I added my crimp tube before I did that. And then it's just a matter of crimping and getting your lobster secure. Now, we can't push the beads out of the way much at this point, so using your crimping pliers, you just need to be extra careful and make sure that you don't crack those seed beads. On the other side, all I'm doing is creating a seed beaded loop. So my lobster claw clasp will latch right onto that, and you do have to be careful of those seed beads again, but just a really easy, simple project, but a very classic boutique style necklace, and you can dazzle your friends and tell them you went to a fancy spa and went to a boutique and bought something in the boutique at the spa. Such a fun necklace. Now we're going to make a second one. This one's going to have a little bit of an asymmetrical vibe. So those rhyolite beads are faceted. They're fantastic. And the seed beads are also a perfect match for those as well. And this time I'm just using 2 seed beads in between the beads. So I have more of the rhyolite on the strand than I did the African opal. So I'm using less seed beads, but still it adds a little bit of sparkle and shine between your faceted rounds. So just an easy peasy pattern. These stones are really gorgeous. And then I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to put a bead stopper on, and then I'm going to take those 2 leaf cutout connectors. And they are really, really cool, great for any time of the year. And I'm going to attach them with 2 4mm jump rings. So I'm going to connect the 2 gold tone pieces. You could actually do a third or just one if you'd like. So I'm using 2 jump rings to make that point of connection for those 2 pieces. And then we're going to do what we did to connect the round piece, the round connector on the other necklace. Just putting on our crimp tube and a couple of seed beads, then stringing on one side or one end of the focal and another 2 seed beads, and then we're going to crimp. And again, just being very careful of those seed beads, and then trimming off your excess. And then I'm going to start stringing the second part. But in this case, what you're going to want to do is string more beads, because this is going to be asymmetrical. That focal is going to sort of sit on the side, and it'll be towards the bottom on the side. You can adjust it wherever you'd like it, and you could still put those 2 leaves in the very center if you like that look better. Maybe even put a bead in between those 2 pieces in the center. Just something to think about. But I like this as an asymmetrical look. And I don't wear daintier necklaces all that often, but what I like about these is they could also be great layering necklaces. So doing the same thing I did on the other necklace, just a very simple lobster claw and loop closure. And now I've got 2 incredibly beautiful boutique style necklaces with gemstones and metal. So pretty. You can find everything to make these at beadaholique.com. Thanks so much for watching.